Welcome to all my travelers out there. I am your host, Darren Beckett, and this is the Global Travel Podcast. For those who do not know my travel resume, I've been to 13 states, 15 countries on 5 different continents, but it is not about me. Here, we are giving you quality travel tips, insights, and recommendations on all the best destinations for ideas to enjoy your vacations. With that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. We are all clear for takeoff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we reach our destination, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, click the bell, and if you could do me a huge favor, if you can leave us a comment stating, I got my ticket. And at the end of the show, I'm going to return and see how you guys' trip went with us, all right? So with that being said, on today's episode, we are taking a trip to Hungary. So make sure you got your passports, your earphones, and something to snack on. We have a very special guest here with us today, but before I introduce her, let me just say this. She is a well-rounded individual. She is a traveler. So the definition of travel, she's been to 30 plus states. Excuse me, I take that back. She's actually been to 16 states, been to 30 countries, as a matter of fact. So if you want to know about Hungary, this is the person to listen to. So take notes and pay attention. Without further ado, let me introduce you to Mrs. Star Burley. How you doing, Star?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much for having me on.
No problem. Thank you for, carving out some busy time out your schedule to show us some love and some travel advice. So much appreciated. So we can go ahead and just get started real quick. But before we do, actually, tell our folks, our viewers, our travelers a little bit about you, who you are, where you from, work, hobby, and all that good stuff.
All right, cool. I'm a stylist based in Los Angeles. So I work on a lot of music videos, red carpets, press tours, anything like that with a lot of celebrities. And due to my job, I've actually had the pleasure of traveling a lot. So I've been able to like travel all over the world. There's been times where like I find myself in Paris, Milan, London, New York for Fashion Week, which is really cool. And through my travels, I've like like ended up in like Milan for a few days, and I'm like, well, I'm already on this side of the world, so might as well stay for a few more days longer. So I've like kind of ventured off into other cities, other countries, and it's been really amazing. Um, Traveling kind of like happened for me on accident. I didn't really know I was like such a huge traveler until I just found myself one day being like, you know what, I'm gonna quit my job for a few months and just give it a shot and see what happens. And I didn't really have a plan on how many places I wanted to go to or where I was going, just kind of knew I was gonna go around Europe. And yeah, before I realized it was like December and I was like, oh my God, I've been here for like 4 months. So yeah,
Oh.
I've done a good amount of traveling. It's been really fun. I've also like prior to going to Europe, I did a good amount of Southeast Asia, which has been really cool. I've done Morocco, I've done Oman randomly, and I've done like a few. I mean, on this side of the world, I've done like Mexico and Cuba, which has been really cool as well. Never done South America, sadly. Haven't made it
Mm,
there. Yeah,
bucket list.
yeah, definitely on my list. But yeah, I love traveling. Traveling is like my life. So right now during quarantine, it's been awful.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, even though I'm in my home for the past year or whatever, 12 months, 10 months, whatever it is, I'm feeling homesick because I'm not traveling. So that's my home.
Yeah.
Traveling is feel like home for me. So right now
Yes.
I'm feeling in foreign territories being locked up in my
Right?
house. So it's a little different for me. So I
I see.
understand. I
Yeah.
understand.
It's a
So
weird feeling.
yeah. What about okay? So some of the let's go ahead. You the co-pilot, So you're gonna take us where you want to take us right now. We're gonna start United States, of course. So what are some of the states? Matter of fact, you pick. What states do you want to take us
Okay,
to
so
first?
it's funny. I prior to this year, I didn't really travel around the United States just because I never found it like too interesting. Which is so false because the United States has some really beautiful places. Like I was just looking at Nevada and like there's these really cool glaciers up there that I didn't even know existed there that are beautiful. And I mean California obviously has so much to offer. There's the mountains, there's the water, there's so many national parks. And same with Nevada, with Utah and like Wyoming, Nebraska, all of those states are so pretty. So like I said, prior to COVID, never traveled around, finally started just like taking a lot of road trips these last few months because that's all you really can do anymore. So I've done in the like during COVID, I went to Florida. I spent a few weeks there, and to my total surprise, it was actually really great. Like,
Mhm.
I think a lot of people have a like kind of bad misconceptions of what Florida is. Like,
Mm.
everyone's kind of like, oh, everyone's really racist. Like, it's all Trump supporters, which it is. But I will say this, it really changed my perspective, especially on Trump supporters,
Mhm.
because it was right before the election, like how you have to treat everybody nicely and everybody can be really nice. And just because they don't have the same political views as you doesn't mean that you can't get along.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
did go in like kind of close minded, being like, oh, those people are gonna kind of suck. But as the weeks went on, I kept meeting people that were so nice that were like they were definitely Trump supporters and they would tell you they were and they would, talk about it. But I had like such a lovely experience with them that I was like, okay, there's a mass majority of Trump supporters that are really like not the best people, but there's the other parts that are just Republicans and they've always been Republican that are really great. So that was really interesting. I stayed in Boca because I have a house there, and from Boca, I drove all the way down to Key West, which is really cool. Being in Key West is like literally being at like the end of the United States. It's so weird. I was like
Yeah.
looking on my map, and I was like, wow, I'm literally like in like the water.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Uh-huh.
so that was really nice. Key West is a really beautiful, beautiful city. It's really small. It's very like island life there.
Mhm.
Everyone's really nice. There's a lot of like a really big Cuban population there just because Cuba's like I think only 7 hours away from there. So the food's delicious, the seafood's amazing, like everything's fresh and it's so affordable. It's like
Mhm.
crazy to me.
Mhm.
So I really like that. That was really nice. I mean, I've done like the usual states, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah. Also a few months ago, I got to go to Lake Powell in Utah, which
Mhm.
like, have you ever been? It's freaking amazing.
No, but it's on my bucket list. I hear
Oh,
things. Utah, I heard was, for the hikers or nature, and I love nature too.
yeah,
I'm not the most, I'm not the hiker, but you know, I like it to. I just don't like the process, I guess. So
yeah,
I gotta get better at the process of hiking. But
yes.
once I get to the top and I can see the view, that's when I'm like,
It's
okay, yeah,
stunning.
it's
Yeah,
worth
no,
it.
it's
Yeah.
it's so pretty. I honestly I didn't even know what Lake Powell really was. Like I knew it was like this beautiful lake. And like when I think of lake, I think of like, I don't know, Big Bear Lake or something like that, which like I
Mhm.
grew up here in LA, like there's not that many lakes around here.
Mhm.
So going to Lake Powell was this huge like it was just like such an extreme experience to have. Is that gonna be an issue?
No, no, go ahead. You fine. Go ahead.
It was just so beautiful to be there. Like it's just this like massive lake. I mean, I don't even know how that's like really considered a lake because it just goes on and on for miles and miles, and it's in between like Nevada and Utah, so you keep skipping through both states. And there's so many different waters that come in from like the Colorado River comes in. I think the Escalantes River comes in, which is really beautiful. Um, and yeah, I mean the rocks, the colors in them are so impeccable. I've never seen reds like that. Like there's so many
Yeah.
moments where I would look around and I was like, oh my God, it's like we're in Mars or what I think Mars would be with water, of course. And
Right,
then
right.
also the water has this like beautiful like like light teal color to it that's so so pretty. And it looks like it's like glass. Like everything reflects off the water. So you just kind of like see like double the amount of rocks that are you're already seeing here. You see them at the bottom too, and it's just oh my God, it was amazing. There's so many different canyons that we went to. Like that place just has canyons on canyons on canyons. You can never visit enough canyons there. And
Right.
I was lucky enough to have a friend who had a dad he's a serious boater. So we
Mhm.
took out his boat and honestly didn't know like how much goes into boating. It's actually really hard.
Mhm.
But like
Mhm.
this was one of those vacations. Like I thought I was gonna be like in my bikini, just like, like sunbathing all day and like swimming all day. But no, no, no. Like we had like a lot of work to do. Like we would wake up at like 7 a.m. We would have to go put gas in the boat, and that takes like a good 30 minutes.
Mm.
Then you have to cook breakfast. Then you have to get all the coolers ready. Then you have to pack up the boat or no, you don't even pack up the boat. You pack up your truck first, then you drive to to Lake Powell. and then you have to do all of that, and then it's just like this whole process of like unleashing the boat from the car. Like it was a lot, like really a lot. Like don't do it unless you're like ready for it. Like
Right,
and then
right.
also just like because like Powell's so big, you just boat and boat for like hours on end. Like you can literally go for like 3 hours straight without stopping and you still haven't finished.
Mhm,
So it
mhm.
goes, it's you can go in really deep and it gets really hot and then like the heat's just like on you and it's just it's a big process, but it's beautiful. Honestly beautiful.
Right, right. Like
Like,
sound like a vacation well worth it. If
yeah.
you enjoy enjoy the process. I think that's one of the major things, just enjoying the process.
Yeah.
That could be fun. Now, what other states? Let's stop in. Did you have you ever been to what like some of like the off the beaten path states that?
Okay, so like the flyover states, at least
Yeah.
I like to call them flyover states. The I think the one flyover state that I've really been to is Indiana.
Hmm.
So a few years ago, while I was still in university, I went to visit a couple cousins that I had out there. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go. It's gonna be so pretty. Like it's gonna be snowing and like it's gonna be so cute and like can't wait to go. And like I kind of looked up things to do. Like my cousins are like 30 minutes away from Indianapolis. So I was like,
Hmm.
cool, like Indianapolis, there should be stuff to do.
Hmm.
So I get there, and mind you, my cousins are like 10 years younger than me. So it's not like we were gonna go out and like have dinner together. But I was
Hmm.
like, we'll figure it out. And yeah, I got there and there was just like nothing to do. Like
What?
it was it was just like flat land for miles and miles and miles. And then they have these communities that just like all look the same. Like I felt like I was in like Stepford Wives. Like it it just yeah, like there was nothing interesting going on.
Uh-huh.
Um, which was a bummer, but then it snowed, which was really exciting. And
Mhm.
then my cousins were like, "Oh, you should come like shovel snow with us. Like we make money off of it." And I was like, "Okay, I'll come help you. Like you guys can keep the money,
Mhm.
obviously, but I kind of just want to
Mhm.
like, be here and like live like you guys do." And they're like, "Okay, it's gonna be really hard." And I was like, "It can't be that hard to shovel snow." Dude,
Yeah,
20 minutes into it, I was like, "I can't do this." Because you're like
Californians.
you're sweating, but you also have so many coats on because it's so cold. So it's like you have like coat sweats going on. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
not
Yeah.
great. Like really not
Mhm.
great. Also, the produce there was like really awful. I'm a pescatarian. So
Mm.
like there was no way in heck I was gonna have any seafood there. But I was
Mhm.
gonna have vegetables and I went to go buy vegetables and they were just like the saddest vegetables you could ever see. They were like black and like had holes in them. And I was just kind of like, this is what you guys eat here? And my uncle was like, this is like, yeah, this is a normal day here. And I was just kind of like, really? Like with all the agriculture around here? And he was like, yeah, this is like, you're lucky out in California because like all the stuff we get imported here doesn't make it all the way out in Indiana. So that
Wow.
was an interesting experience.
Right, right.
I don't recommend
Wow.
it. Not
Right, right.
recommend it.
See, I see why not. It doesn't
Yeah,
sound too exciting from your perspective. And everyone has their own view on things. So somebody else may love Indiana for whatever reason.
right.
It might be their thing, and
Sure.
but we in California, so it's a little different, than what we're used to. But yeah, definitely. What about some okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and go to a different state then.
Different state. I mean, I've done like Washington, I've done New Mexico, New York, Massachusetts,
Let's do New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's going on?
Okay.
What's there to do in New Mexico?
I went to Santa Fe.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty young. I was probably like 10 or 11. So we went to the zoo. We went to like a few different gardens, which like honestly, Santa Fe is really beautiful. And I think now that I'm older, I would appreciate it a little more,
Mm-hmm.
especially because of all the sacred land that they have there and all the reservations that are there. And like just the culture that has been emerged into the American culture from like all the tribes that are there is really cool. Um, I remember seeing like a lot of really cool animals that I just like wouldn't get to see even here in California.
Mm-hmm.
Just like even the rabbits that they have, like they're like the desert rabbits that are really cool. And sometimes you see like tortoises just walking around and you're like, oh my God, that's like an actual tortoise just like hanging out in the desert here. So that was really cool. I remember seeing really cool bugs that like I again like never see them here. A lot of scorpions, like really big scorpions, really like really cool snakes too.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of lizards, but like big lizards, not like the little tiny ones that we see here.
Right, right.
Um, Really, really pretty there. I remember the food being there really good too, just because again, it's a combination of like Mexican and like traditional Native American food.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
wish I could tell you more like exactly what I was eating, but it was really good.
Right, right.
And everyone's really nice, and it's definitely I'm Mexican, so it definitely felt like kind of like a little bit of home was there, which was really nice to see.
Mm-hmm.
There's and obviously there's a big Mexican population there, so it wasn't
Right.
hard to find like my favorite foods there either.
Is it now? Is it Spanish only? Do they speak English too, or how does it
It's
work
a
down
lot of
there?
Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of Spanish. Same like California, everyone speaks Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it was really cool. I definitely recommend it. I actually want to go there back myself because I know there's some really cool mountain ranges there that are there to see and like all the really cool deserts to see. So big fan. I love the desert. Desert's really beautiful.
Got you, got you. So you know what? I think we spent enough. I mean, you've been to a lot of countries, so I think we're gonna hurry up and get across the pond. What? So we got Hungary later on. We got a little ways to go to get to Hungary. But what other what country do you want to start off with first? Let's go there.
Okay, so one of my favorite countries in the whole entire world is Vietnam. Um,
Mm.
Beautiful country. I still haven't like explored all of it. It's
Hmm.
a really large country, which I didn't even realize. Like, if you look at the map, sometimes you look at the map, you're like, oh, it's not that big,
Hmm.
which like doesn't make any sense. But like, I just look at the map sometimes, like, well, it's not that far away. It's like right there. Yeah, I'm one of those persons. Um, but anyways, Vietnam is really long. So in like, I guess in width, it's not that thick, but in length is very long. And it's so different. Like if you start from the top all the way to the south, I think you can do like a whole like 2-month trip and you still won't see it all.
Hmm.
So I only went to Saigon, which is more formally known as Ho Chi Minh City,
Hmm.
but I spent how much time did I spent there 2 weeks there, which is amazing, honestly. And I still didn't get to see it. There's like I think 19 different districts that make up Ho Chi Minh City,
Hmm.
and it's so so cool. The people are so nice. The food is amazing. I love pho, so like pho is everywhere, and it's all day long.
Hmm.
Everybody rides a Vespa, which is actually really scary. There's I was reading the statistics when I was there. There's for every person, there's 3 Vespas to that person.
Mm.
Like that's how many Vespas there are there. So
Mm.
like it's
Wow.
an insane amount of Vespas, and if you can even see kids, like kids that are like I don't know 7, 8 years old riding Vespas by themselves. You'll see families like full on families, like the mom, the dad, the 2 kids here, and the dog in the back, and then like a big like bag of groceries here, a big bag of groceries here, and then like a pack of rice here. And you're just like, how are they doing that in just one little Vespa? And
Right.
and like nobody gets in accidents, like nothing crazy happens.
Hmm.
It's like it's a really crazy, like chaotic, unorganized mess.
Mm.
It's or
Right.
organized mess, sorry.
Right.
It's
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah.
it's so
So
crazy. So
quick. What is it? I don't know the name. Best Spot. What is that? What type of vehicle is that?
it's
Kind of explain
like
it.
a small it's not like a motorcycle, but it's like a what do you call like they're not motorcycles, but they're like the baby of the motorcycle,
A scooter, like
like a
like a
scooter.
scooter.
Yeah, like a
Okay.
scooter. Sorry.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I guess Vespa's more like the brand. I don't know why I call them Vespas. Yeah, so they're just scooters. Like they're really small. And what's really cool, so they don't have Uber out there, but they do have
Mm-hmm.
this app called Via.
Hmm.
And at the time when we no, sorry, Grab. It's called Grab. So it's really cool. They have Grabs that are scooters and they'll pick you up and you just like go on the back of someone's scooter and just
Uh-huh.
ride to your destination. And
Right.
it's such a crazy like feeling because you're like it's so scary to be among like thousands of scooters around you. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh my god." And you just like you look around and like there's no distance between you and the other person. Like if you put your hand out, you will smack them.
Yeah.
So like you have to like keep your hands in it, but it's so exciting too because at the same time there's so much to see, there's so much going on. Like it's so so cool and everyone's like with a happy smile and it's so nice. And I remember just like doing that and it felt like so free to do that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I
Hmm.
just yeah, I really really like that part of the trip. We ended up doing a scooter trip when we were there with these kids that were going to college there, and they tour you around like 8 different districts, and they show you what like every single district is known for something. So there's
Mhm.
like the districts that have a lot of like French influence in them, and like all the buildings are like very like Baroque style and like beautiful buildings that they just left before the war. And then there's like the areas where there's like the flower district or like the toy district or like the party district. Then there's like areas where they have like specific temples, or like there's different parts also where there's different types of religions that like specifically live in that district. So it's
Mhm.
really cool to see all of that, and they took us to try different pho and like different places. And then the coolest thing they did on that trip was walk us through an apartment building of
Mhm.
like in a traditional apartment building, just to see how people live.
Mhm.
And imagine like a studio apartment in New York City where like 3 families live.
Ooh.
And like that's traditional for them. So you get married, you start your family, but you move in with your parents. And you like
Mm.
share that tiny little apartment. It's like the bedrooms, like they're bedrooms, but they're really small. And I remember just like thinking, I was like, oh, that's so crazy already. And these families, like, they're pretty big because everybody has a lot of kids.
Right.
And I remember thinking, I was like, I can't even believe like how people live through that. So we were walking around, and I'll never forget this image in my head. There was this like pretty big family having dinner,
Mhm.
and it was on this round table, and there was like food everywhere, and they're toasting right as we're walking right by them. And I was like, oh my god, I feel like I'm like hitting like an intimate moment, but their door was wide open, so like it wasn't like they obviously didn't really care. And I just like look at them, and they just like all look back at me, and we just smile at each other. And I was like, wow, that's so beautiful. I felt so wholesome in that moment.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I mean, it was just so nice to just see how people lived and how happy they were. And everybody's so happy in Vietnam.
Mhm.
Like, there's obviously it's a really poor country, it's a third world country.
Right.
Um, but just like talking to all the locals and talking to even the college kids that were driving us around, like they were telling us about how simple their life is, and like how much they just like they don't need a lot to be happy.
Mhm. Mhm.
And family's like really important, and sports are really important because it like brings everybody together.
Yep.
And it was true that you could see and you can feel the energy with everybody, like everybody's so unified there,
Mhm.
which was really beautiful to see as well. And everyone's just really kind, really helpful. I remember so many times like we would get lost like walking through some of the areas, and somebody would be like, you look kind of lost, like do you need help? And I'd be like, yeah, like I do. And they'd
Right.
be like, okay. And then they kind of be like, do you want to come have a beer with me? And I'd be like, okay. And you would
What?
just like drink with them like outside their house. And they
Right.
would, you would like, they would speak in broken English. And like, I have like no Vietnamese in me whatsoever. So we'd like kind of try to understand each other. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, really, really beautiful. I really, really enjoyed that. And just again, the sense of community there was so wholesome. Like it was just stunning to me.
And I think that's in the Asian community, the Asian culture.
Oh yeah.
It's a collective or not order, but a collective group. They do everything together or do things
Hmm.
together. It's definitely different than the United States, of course. We're more individual. Once we 18, parents are like, all right, get out the house. So it's not it's definitely different. And then I know in the I'm not exactly if it's all Asian cultures, but I know one of the things is when you're younger, you're not supposed to look your elders in the eye. So that's definitely different than
Right,
American culture. In American culture, we say, eye to eye contact is
right,
respect. But
right,
in the Asian culture, it is disrespectful to look your elders eye to eye. So,
right.
it's important to learn the culture. It's important to know, where you're going and try to, you don't have to know everything, but you try, give it
Right.
effort. They'll, whatever country you're in, they will understand and they'll help you along the way. So that's pretty cool. And then
Yeah.
since we are in Asia, I know you've been to Thailand, so let's go
Yeah.
ahead and hop over to Thailand real quick. What's up with
Okay.
Thailand?
So actually,
Bangkok.
this is what's actually really cool. So when I was still in university, I was working a job, and I was just kind of like saving a lot of money, never really spent money. I was like really frugal with it, all of my money. And one day my friend called me. She's in Thailand, and she was like, you should come visit. And I was like, I can't go to Thailand. Like it's too expensive. And she's like, "It's really not." She's like, "Once you get here, it's gonna be like nothing." Like she's like, "Try to find a flight." And she's like, I found you a flight. It's $600 round trip. And I was like, okay, I guess that's not that much money. And she kind of like hit it in my head. Shit, sorry.
No, you
She
good.
she was like, she's like, how are you gonna like enjoy all this money that you're making? Like, you have to enjoy your life. Otherwise, like one day you're gonna see all this money and you're like, what did I do? And I was like, you know what, you're right. So I ended up quitting my job at the end of that day. And I was like, yeah, I kind of gotta go. And they're like, where are you going? And I was like, I'm going to Thailand. And they're like, okay, like, so today's your last day. And I was like, yeah, I'm leaving in a few days. So yeah, I kind of have to like pack. So I left for a month and I knew it was gonna be like on that side of the world. And my friend was like, it's so easy to travel around here. Like flights are really cheap. Like we can probably like skip over to like a few other countries. So I was like, all right, let's do it. Like, why not? And it was my first like independent trip. So I was really excited. I flew to Thailand with a friend who also just ended up coming with me last minute. And yeah, we got there and when I got there, she's like, look, I just want you to know, like, you're in a third world country. Like, don't expect what happens like in America. Like, it's not gonna be like that. Like, just, just go with the flow. So I was like, okay. So I was ready for it. Like, I was like, I can't like overreact. I can't get upset. Like, whatever happens, happens. And like, mind you, the first day that I get there, there's like cockroaches everywhere. And I was like, oh my God. And like, they're not like small cockroaches, they're like big ones that fly. So I was like, oh, okay, so they're flying. Cool.
They fly.
Yeah. So like really cute. But anyways, yeah, I was there for a few weeks, met up with my friend. We did some of Phuket, which is like mostly like where everybody goes. It's like the usual like tourist spot. And it was just really dirty and really busy. So I was kind of looking up like where is it like, like more mellow, like where is it nicer, where's it cleaner. So we found Krabi was really nice. And we took a boat to Krabi and ended up there. And honestly, it was way different than Phuket. Like, it was so calm. There wasn't really that many people there either. And again, it's so cheap there that we found an Airbnb that we had like the penthouse suite to it with our own pool in it. And it was $45 a night. Yeah,
What?
like it was ridiculous. And at that point, so we're seeing everybody on scooters, and I'm like, I really want to drive a scooter. Like, I want to do it. And the roads weren't too busy. So we were like, I feel like we could do it. So we actually ended up getting our Airbnb to give us lessons, and they were super nice. They like spent 2 hours with us, taught us how to do it. And then we were like, okay, let's just do it. Like, let's go for it. And finally, there's one day we decided to go to this temple. It was like the temple of like 1,000 steps. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it was beautiful. You go up like over 1,000 steps and you go all the way to the top, and it's this amazing view of Krabi. And it just, I mean, God, it's so ridiculous to even explain like what you see. You see all the mountain ranges and so green, and there's like all these beautiful birds like just singing, and you're just like, what is this? It feels like I'm like in heaven. Like, it was crazy to me. Like, I never experienced anything like that. And so from the temple that we were at, there was a really cool waterfall. And my friend was like, let's go, like we should ride to it. And I was like, I don't know, like this scooter thing is like not working for me, because it was kind of scary. And it was also raining. So I was like, I don't think like us in a scooter in the rain and like we just started learning is smart. So
Not a good
we're like having
recipe.
a discussion. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know about this. And then this guy, he's like, wait, what waterfalls? And like, we don't know this guy. And we're like, my friend's like, oh, this waterfall. And she like shows him pictures, and he's like, wow, that looks really nice. He's like, I want to go. And I was like, yeah, but it's too far from here. So like, we're going home. And he was traveling with two friends. And he's like, well, what's the problem? So I like explained, I was like, I'm just really scared. Like, I don't know. I can't do it. And he's like, what if we ride on the sides of you guys and block traffic from coming in? Like, would that make you feel safer? So I was like, yeah, I guess so. So he's like, all right, let's go. So we all jump in our scooters, and they're blocking traffic. So like nobody can get in. We're like in this triangle, and we get to the waterfall. And when we get there, the guy's like, it's closed. And we're like, what? So then the guys are like, look, like these girls are from America, we're from Canada, like please like help us, like we'll give you extra, like whatever it takes, like please, 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 like we just want to see it. We won't be that long. Like we promise we'll be like really quick. And the guy's like, all right, you guys came from really far, just go. So
Mm-hmm.
the park's closed. So we're the
Mm-hmm.
only people at this waterfall. And it's just, oh my God, it was so beautiful. The water
Wow.
is so clean. Like there's just trees everywhere. There's vines everywhere. There's just all these beautiful birds everywhere. Like, oh my God, it was stunning. And finally the guy like runs up and he's like, you guys gotta go because my boss is here. And we were like, oh, okay. So we like run out of there. And finally the guys are like, so where are you guys staying? So we tell them like the area that we're at, and they're like, do you guys want us to drive you back? And we're like, yeah, that would be nice. So they're like, okay, cool. So we're driving, and at this point we're like 45 miles from like where we actually are staying. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a long ride. So we're driving, and it's like the roads that we're going through, they're like pitch black. Like you really can't see anything,
Mm-hmm.
but you have like this all the stars, like every star in the freaking universe you could see. It was impeccable. Like you would look up and
Nice.
you're like, wow, like this is amazing. And
Yeah.
but from far, far away, you can see the lightning just kind of like striking, and it just would kind of like light up little sections. And then the most amazing moment that's ever happened in my whole entire life was this moment where lightning like strikes right in front of us,
Oh,
and
snap.
it just lights up everything where we are, and we realize we're in the middle of a jungle.
Oh,
And it's just like I like I'll never forget this moment. It was just so beautiful because you could see like the shadows of all the trees and like all the palm trees and everything, and then we like see like a shadow of an elephant, and I
Uh-oh.
like look at the guys and I'm like, "Did you just see that?" And they're like, "Yeah, like what?"
It's a big
And we
ass shadow.
yeah, yeah, right. And we just like drive off, and we're like all in silence. Like everyone just like couldn't believe what we had just seen because it was just so stunning. And I remember looking at the guy next to me and I was like, I feel like I'm in a movie. And he's like, no, it literally is like a movie. Like, this is so crazy. He's like, we don't even know each other. We just experienced that together. Like, how crazy is that?
That's
So,
real dope. That's real dope.
yeah.
And you know what? It's funny how you mentioned that you meet people when you travel,
Oh,
you
yeah.
meet people. They don't have to necessarily be from the same country as you, but you just meet folks from different parts of the
Hmm.
world. And you like, you know what, we here, y'all here, you trying to do something, and let's do something, and anything can happen. So I always recommend my listeners and my followers not to be on a very strict schedule, but just to go with the flow because you
Just
never
go
know.
with it.
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
may be something that is off the radar. Like, you know what, it's something different. Don't know nothing about it, but it's a good little thing to do. So
Always.
you know what, it's adventures, and you got stories like like you, Star. So it's
Yeah.
real cool. And
Yeah.
then you know what, we spent some time in the United States. We hit Asia a little bit, so we all know that Asia is pretty affordable or for us Americans, of course. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
want some pho, go to Vietnam, get you some pho. And then when it comes to Thailand, you definitely want to go somewhere off the beaten path. You might not want to go to Phuket or all the popular areas. You might want to do something a little low key. So
Yeah.
that's actually good that you guys did that. And then now, Star, we are officially in Hungary. We just touched down. We're getting off the plane, stretching our legs. So tell us about Hungary. What's the first thing we should do when we in Hungary?
All right. So my Hungary experience is a really interesting experience. I went to Hungary to a party hostel. So
Mm.
Hungary is actually known for its party hostels,
Mm.
and it's crazy. It's like it's a whole other level of partying. Like I thought I could party, but like no, no, no. Like these people like are a whole different thing. Um, we stayed at this hostel called Retox,
Hmm.
and I mean it's like kids from all over the freaking world. Like everybody you meet there is just like, I'm from Denmark, I'm from Australia, I'm from the Philippines, I'm from Taiwan. And funny enough, like what you just said, a lot of my really good friends now are from Hungary, or from Retox, that I met them there. And then we just like stayed in contact, and every few months we'll be like, hey, what are you doing? Like, I'm going here, do you want to come? And I'm like, yeah, I'll meet you there. Like, so it is really cool. And you also just, when you stay in a hostel and you spend like more than like 2 days, you're family. Like
Yeah.
like trust me, if you're living together and you survive through living in a hostel, you know each other really well. You've seen a lot of each other, and
Mhm.
at that point, like you're definitely going to be speaking at each other's weddings. Like I highly recommend to any of your listeners watching, like if you can stay in a hostel, do it. It's more of the experience than like the accommodations of it. Like the accommodations are not great. They're not bad. I will say that. They're not bad. But it's all about the experience. Bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
Um,
Yeah, hostel. So, what's the difference? I don't know if everyone know the difference between a hostel and a hotel. So, tell our listeners what the
okay.
difference is.
So a hotel is obviously somewhere that is a private room. You're staying by yourself. It's, you know, that you can stay from like a 1-star hotel to a 5-star hotel, and it's, you know, depending on what you pay for, you're gonna get something amazing. A hostel is community living. You're sharing a room with anywhere from like 2 people to 16 people. Like there's
Hmm.
some dormitories that are like 35 people. And like, yeah, it's crazy. It's really intense. And there are lots
Yeah.
going on, especially depending on the type of hostel that you choose. Like there's different hostels that are just like, you know, people relaxing and it's just like cute. Like some people even take their families too. Um,
Hmm.
and then there's like party hostels, which like party hostels, like unless you're trying to party, do not stay at them because it will be a party
Right.
24/7. So definitely
Ooh, wait.
read Hostel World. Hostel World is this website where you can find every hostel in the whole world.
Yeah.
And you can read all the ratings and it'll tell you like if it's a party hostel, if it's like a chill hostel. And like some hostels have like different themes. Like there's some hostels where they teach you how to cook, or they'll like, you know, show you around the city, or they focus on like different types of like books, or you know, all kinds of different hostels. So it could be a really cool experience depending on what you're looking for. um I got
Hmm.
put into
Hmm.
this party hostel in Hungary on accident because I asked my friend, like, do you have any
Hmm.
recommendations of where to stay? And he's like, yeah, stay at Retox. So my friend that I was traveling with, I was like, my friend said to stay at Retox. And she was like, okay. So she just books it. And we were
Right.
coming in from Vienna. We take a bus from Vienna, which isn't that far. And we get there at like 4 a.m., which was really random.
Hmm.
And like Hungary is
Hmm.
one of those cities where like when it's sleeping, it's sleeping. Like no one's out. It's really strange.
Hmm.
So we get to
Hmm.
the party house or to the hostel, sorry, and we knock on the door and they said like 24-hour check-in. So we're like, is anyone gonna come out? No one's answering. We're like,
Hmm.
okay, it's like really cold. It was probably like 20 degrees. And we're like in our coat. I'm like,
Wow.
oh my God, I'm
Wow.
freezing. Like at this point, I'm like, I'm gonna go to a hotel. Like, I don't even care. Finally, someone comes
Hmm.
out. This guy with like blue and green hair comes out and like kind of like you could tell he was kind of drunk. And he's like, are you guys the ones that are staying here today? And I'm like, we're like, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, my bad. He's like, I was supposed to be up for you guys. So we're like, oh, no worries. So he's like, all right, let's get you in somewhere warm. So go in somewhere warm. And he's like, welcome to Retox. And we're like, thank
Hmm.
you. And so if you're staying here, you obviously know what this place is, right? And we're like, no, like it's a hostel, right? Like I don't what else goes to it. And he's like, who told you about this place? I was like, oh, my friend told me. He's like, did he tell you what happens here? And I'm like, no. So at this point I'm like, okay, this is getting weird. I'm like in Eastern Europe, like he's
Yeah.
asking me, do I know what happens here? Like this could be strange. And he's like, so we're a party hostel. So we party 24/7. And he's like, every night is like a different theme to what we do. So he's like, we'll take you out. Like he's like, we do sightseeing. Like we'll take you, like, you know, you're gonna like actually like see what happens here in Budapest. But they're like, yeah, like we're strictly like partying, like we're drinking all day long. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, so if you want to stay, let me get that deposit, but if you want to stay somewhere else, I could give you a list of other places to stay, because he's like, this happens all the time. So I look at my friend and I was like, you know
Uh-huh.
what, let's do it, like let's just go for it.
Mhm.
So we ended up
Mhm.
staying,
Mhm.
and we were the very first people that had come in like right after Christmas. So the whole thing was like there was nobody there. And he's like, yeah, like tonight's gonna be pretty slow because everyone's just coming in for Christmas. But he's like, the next few days are gonna be crazy because everybody comes for New Year. So we are like, oh, all right, cool,
Mhm.
it's gonna be great. So we do some sightseeing that day. We went up to the Elizabeth Point view, which is amazing. Like you can see this view of the whole entire city. Like it's
Mhm.
really, really beautiful. I'm not really sure what the building is up there, but it looks like a palace. and like
Mm-hmm.
there's
Mm-hmm.
just like lions and tigers no, there's not tigers, it's just lions. But they're like all gold and it's just beautiful, and there's just like these beautiful statues up there. And there's a church up there that's really really beautiful. It's more like a cathedral. The architecture
Mm-hmm.
up there is really stunning. There's all these Christmas markets that are still going on all over the city. You can walk to all of them.
Wow.
They have hot wine, which is like such like an Eastern European thing to have during the Christmas time. So all you do,
Hot wine?
hot wine.
You
It's
said
bomb. It's stellar.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Is it like something you just boil or something and you just take it? How do they
Yeah, pretty much,
just or,
basically.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay. And so we can
basically.
just put some wine in the microwave and just drink it, and that's our hot wine, huh?
Love that. But something like that. They do
Okay.
it's kind of like sangria, but just hot. Like it's
Mm-hmm,
kind of like
mm-hmm.
in that, and like sometimes there's apples, sometimes there's like peaches in it. Mostly apples, but it's really good. Like it tastes really good, and like obviously you're just drinking the whole day. So like you start at 9 a.m. Like soon it's like 4 p.m. You're like, wow, I've had like 10 of these. Like I think I had a whole bottle already. So yeah, little trick to drinking in Eastern Europe, and it's like literally like €2, so it's like not that expensive. Um,
Nice,
yeah, the
nice.
food there's really, really good. There's this dish that they have. It's like it's not like a tortilla, but it's made out of corn, and then they just kind of like slap like sour cream and potatoes and cheese, and it really doesn't sound like much, but honestly, when you eat it, you're like, oh my god, this is all I ever really needed. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
really, really good. I know there's like a lot of meat dishes that they have, but I don't eat meat, so unfortunately, guys, I'm sorry, I can't tell you about that. But yeah, I know the food's really good. It's like mostly it's like street vendors just like
Mhm.
hanging out, and you just go up to them and they give you that. There's a lot of kebabs there because there's a lot of Turkish people hanging out there. So like anytime you're hungry and nothing's open, that's where you go. You just get kebabs. Uh,
Kebabs, right?
Kebabs, yeah. Um, and then the party scene in Budapest is just, I mean, it's kind of out of control. There's so many different places that you can go. There's like cute little bars
Mhm.
that were left from the war that were bombed, and they
Right.
made bars out of them. So you can actually still see some of the places that were like just like there's bombs there, like old
Oh,
bombs.
what?
Yeah, which is really cool. And they're all over the city, and like everybody's kind of like decked them out, like there's like cool lighting and like cool little trinkets to it, but they're really cool to check out. And like also just walking through the city, there's like I mean I always go in the winter, so I don't know what it's like in the summer, but there's this like weird feeling of being there where you can like this sounds so silly. It like feels like you're like, yeah, the Nazis were here. Like you can feel that darkness in the city. It's like
Uh-huh,
it's
uh-huh, uh-huh.
strange. Like you
Right.
can just you're like, wow, it's so quiet. And like Hungarian people themselves, like I've met a few of them that were really nice, but they're pretty quiet, and they kind of stick to themselves, and they're not the nicest people, especially
Mhm.
if you don't speak Hungarian.
Mm.
So, like, and especially if you're not like light skinned and like blue eyes,
Okay.
that still lives on in their culture, unfortunately. It's more like the older generation, like more our generation's like more, open.
Mhm.
But I remember talking to like a few locals, and they're like, yeah, like us kids, like we'll talk to you. Like our parents, they're not gonna talk to you. Which is true. Like, and even like sometimes you would go to a restaurant and you'd be like, hi, how are you? And then be like, what do you want?
Ooh,
Yeah, and you
okay.
just be like, "Okay, hot wine," and they're like, "Here." And, like, literally just, like, toss it at you and just like, "Okay." And you're like, "How much?" And they're like, "It's right there." And you're like, "Oh, okay, sorry." Like, yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah, they're
okay.
not don't expect, like, a warm welcoming there because people aren't really warm there.
Okay.
Another thing to do is the thermal baths.
Mhm.
There's these beautiful thermal
Oh,
baths.
thermal
Really,
baths.
really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I only went to one of them, but honestly, guys, if you're cold and it's like 20 degrees, that's like the thing to do. It's such a beautiful experience to be in these thermal baths because they're so warm, and like
Wow.
you come out and your skin feels so soft and it's so nice. They are like community thermal baths, so there's like a bajillion people in them.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
depending on what time of the day you go, sometimes they're more busy, sometimes they're not.
So,
Um,
it's like a thermal bath is just like a big old jacuzzi, what it sound like. That is that kinda like what it is or, a hot
yeah, but
spring?
I think the thermal baths, it's like supposed to be what is it, like natural water.
Oh, minerals and what and all
Yeah,
that type of
mineral.
stuff.
Yeah. So it's like coming in from the rivers. So they're like really
Mm.
clean water, really pretty. I mean, you can just feel it too, and it smells kind of odd, but it's nice. Like you'll
uh
get used to the smell. It's not that
right. Yeah, wow. It's a lot going on in Hungary. Now do Americans, do we need visas to go to Hungary?
you do not.
Do not? Okay, cool. No
No,
immunization shots and nothing like that.
no. I actually don't think there's any Eastern European country or any European country that needs a visa.
Okay,
Yeah, I
okay,
think we have
cool.
6 months of free travel there. Yeah,
Nice. 6 months. Yeah, we could do a
yeah.
lot in that 6 months. Now, as far as how long did it take you? I'm assuming maybe you flew out of LAX, but how long was that flight from here to
No,
Hungary?
I actually flew. No, I flew to. I actually don't know where I flew into, but I flew to somewhere in Eastern Europe. That
Mm-hmm.
might have taken me like 10 hours, 12 hours. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure, guys.
Okay. No,
I
that's
don't
fine.
remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I came in on a bus from Vienna. So the drive from Vienna to Budapest is only what, like 3 hours. It's super
Mm,
close, like right
mm.
there. Oh,
Right.
fun fact for you.
Oh,
It's
please.
pronounced Budapest, not Budapest. Yeah,
Budapest.
Budapest. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course you learned that there. They're the ones that probably corrected you when you called
Yep.
it Budapest, or somebody
Yep.
called it Budapest and they corrected
Yeah.
it.
I was like, oh, Budapest. And then this lady was like, no, it's Budapest. And I was like, oh, okay, sorry, my bad. Like, didn't know that.
That is real fun. I like that. Yeah, you know what? You don't know these type of things until you go to the country, and that's what I think is the best way to learn. Can you learn from reading online? Yeah, you can see
Yeah.
some pictures, you can read some books and magazines, but it's different than just actually being in the actual
Oh,
environment, the
yeah.
actual country, and immersing yourself.
Always.
Do you know the language? Do any words that you know in is it Hungarian? Is that the word?
Hungarian. Yeah, but no.
No, but yeah, but no. Do they speak? Is it like a English population? Is it hard to get
Yeah.
around? Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people speak English, especially because I mean, especially in Budapest, because they really rely on the tourism that
Mm,
comes in. So kind of everybody speaks English, and
mhm.
that kind of goes for any European or Eastern European country that I've been to. Everybody will always speak English. Like it's never really an issue,
Mhm.
unless you're like in a rural area where like nobody can really say anything to you, and you're just kind of screwed. But there's always
Right.
Google Translate.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. So, is there anything that you disliked about Hungary?
Anything I dislike, honestly, the food, although, like, I did just say the food was great, um, there just wasn't that many options for me being a vegetarian.
Mhm.
So but that's just, like, something I always run into, like, almost in any country.
Right.
I was lucky in, like, Southeast Asia that I was close to the water, so I can eat seafood.
Mhm.
But even then, like in Asia, like it's very everything's meat, like everything's pork and beef, so it is kind of hard to get around. Um, so that would be like one of the things I didn't like about Budapest, but everything else, the whole city is just so beautiful, and
Mhm.
there's so many different areas that you can go to, and just if you just walk for hours and hours, you can run into like the most beautiful places, like the most beautiful corners that like you won't find them like on a travel guide.
Right.
You just run
Right.
into them. Like there was
Right.
some days where we would walk just for hours on hours, just like seeing like let's see what happens, and we
Uh-huh.
would end up at like a really cute cafe that like would never come up on Google Maps, or these like really cool viewpoints that like aren't like the main attraction in Budapest.
Mhm.
So I would really recommend just walking around and seeing what's up. And also there's like so many cool restaurants around with like all kinds of food from all over the world, not just from Budapest.
Mhm.
um and same with the nightlife. Like when we would go out, the hostel that we were staying at, they would have these nights where they would kind of take you out just to like lead you and like be like, this is where you should go. But most of the
Mhm.
time, like we would all kind of venture off on our own, and we didn't know where we were going. We had no idea. Like we would just kind
Mhm.
of follow people, and you would just kind of listen to where it's louder, and you would walk that way, and then you would run
Yeah.
into these like ruin bars. You're like, oh my god, there's a bomb here. Like how cool is that? Like didn't even know. So
Uh,
yeah, it's a cool
I
place.
How do people get around? Is it like Uber
It's
or
all walking.
taxi, subways, trains, all walking?
I mean, there's train, guys. There's train. Um, there is a
Right.
train there, but yeah, we walked everywhere. We just walk. You
Mm,
walk for miles and miles. I remember every day I would check how, like, you can check on your phone how many miles you would walk, and it literally would be like 20 miles, just like,
wow.
yeah. And I'd be like, how did I even walk that much? Like, yeah, it's definitely a walking city, and that's like the best way to really see any city anywhere in the world is just walking around and just checking it out. Like you said, you can read all about any city you're gonna go to, but once you
Hmm.
get there, like it's so much different to just be there and just
Right.
see what happens. Like my best trips have always been the ones that I didn't plan out, the ones where I just kind of showed up and I was like, oh, this is
Mhm.
interesting. Like, what do I do? You know, like, where do I go?
Yeah.
And you kind of just ask someone, and then you always meet people. Like, as long as you're open to meeting people, those
Hmm.
people will come. It's like
Right.
this weird like energy that you put out, being like, I'm here. I don't know anybody. Like, please come talk to me. And people really do come to you, and before you know it, you're best friends with somebody from Iraq, and you're like talking
Yep.
about your family, and you're like on FaceTime with their family. You're like, oh hey, and it's like it's such a beautiful experience to just be open-minded and just see how it goes, really.
Right. Yeah, I like that. Like you said, just being open-minded, being flexible, not having that strict schedule, but just go with the flow. Wherever
Yeah,
the wind blow, just go.
just
So
do it. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
I
no,
like,
it's
and I like that
that's
concept where you said if the music is loud or whatever is loud, just go towards it.
just go
I
to
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
I like that a
Oh
lot.
my gosh, yeah,
Yeah.
that
Like,
some of the best places I've ever been to have just been doing that. Like, I'm like, that looks kind of cool.
mm,
And then you're there and you're like, wow, this is amazing.
yeah.
And if you don't like it, you can just leave. Like, it's not that hard.
Simple, simple. So, okay, what about, is there like shops or is it, what is it known for? Is jewelry or stores or anything of that nature?
Um, so Hungary was formerly obviously a communist country,
Hmm.
and it continued like that like communism like didn't leave the country, so
Mm,
there isn't it's not like a big place where you go shop, and like it's not like Rodeo Drive, like
right.
you're not gonna find like Louis Vuitton. um it's, yeah, it's definitely not that kind of place. Like there's like flea markets and all
Hmm.
the Christmas markets that are there, like you can find like really cute trinkets, and there's like honey, or like, I don't know, somebody carved something out of wood. I didn't really do a lot of shopping, but it's not one of those places that you go to shop at. Like
Okay.
it's just not. And even the things that they sell you, like when you go around the Christmas markets, there's like sometimes there's like stands where it's just like random stuff. And you
Hmm.
literally are like, this looks like you're literally in a communist country just like buying like a random lamp. And you're like, this is what you're selling here? Like it's kind of odd. Um
Uh,
yeah, so it's yeah, I can't really give you any advice on shopping. I definitely not a shopping place, guys.
that's advice right there. Don't go
Yeah,
shopping
yeah,
there. That's
yeah.
the advice.
Maybe buy
Yeah.
some cute trinkets. I don't know, some honey.
You some honey.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you would do differently if you were back in Hungary?
Yes. So I've been to Hungary twice, and
Hmm.
each time I've stayed at Retox. So like a lot of my advice here, guys, is like the partying advice.
Uh-huh.
I would honestly like to go and not stay at Retox
Hmm.
and just have more like a traditional trip, and like actually really see the city. Because even like during the our experience at Retox, like they do take you sightseeing, and you do like we do this really cool like party bus, and you stop at different sites
Mm.
of the city, so you get to see Parliament, you get to see like this really cool view of Parliament, and then you go
Mhm.
all the way up in the hills, and again you get to see Parliament and like the river. So like I got to see those parts of the city, and again in walking around, like I got to see a lot of the city. But I mean, there's like the opera house that I've never been to, which I would really
Mm.
love to go to. There's a cathedral that I've been outside of it, but never been into it.
Mhm.
So I would love to go and like really, really see the city for what it is, minus the partying, because I just think I really focused on the partying there.
That's
Um,
all good.
but I'm
Yeah,
young.
yeah.
What else am I
We
gonna
got
do?
we got some folks that's listening that's partiers. So you
Okay.
giving them great see, everything is always different for depending on the person. So
Right.
you're hitting points. Some folks, like they love to party, and that's just what their
Yeah.
thing is. So Hungary is a place, if you like to party, you might want to go to party and go
Huge
to a
shout
hot
out to Retox. Huge shout
detox.
out to Retox. Like
There you
the
go.
best. The best, honestly, guys. Could
Not
not
gonna be
recommend any
disappointed.
better place. But no, I mean there's other hostels there too that like don't party. So
Right,
definitely,
right.
definitely try it out. But yeah, that's probably the one thing I really do want to go back and like see all of the like main attractions of Budapest and I'll actually like also understand the history because in those two trips that I've done and I've been there for like over a week, I don't know
Mhm.
much of the history. Like I know what I learned in school.
Right.
But like I didn't actually learn
Right.
anything there. Like I remember being by Parliament on my second trip, and I was asking my friend there, and I was like, "Do you know what that building is?" And he was like, "That's Parliament." He's like, "Haven't you already been here?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I think I saw it last time, but like didn't realize it." So yeah.
Ah, that's funny. Yeah, it happens like that. And so we do have to wrap things up. We do have a flight to catch, but before we catch this flight, we probably gonna hit some gift shops and whatnot. So any last things that you want to talk about Hungary before we hit this flight back home?
No, I just yeah, if you guys have the chance to do it, check it out. Also, one thing, the reason I went to Hungary was because I watched this movie called American Rhapsody with Scarlett Johansson that came out like back in the 90s.
Uh,
And if you watch it, you'll understand so much of the city because once you get to the city, it all comes together and you see
mhm.
all the different view or all the different attractions that they show in the movie like in real life and it's really amazing. So you should watch that movie.
Dope. And I mean, you watch the podcast, you get some, watch the movie, get some
Yeah,
more, and then you get there, and then this all makes sense. All the
all
dots are
makes sense.
connected. Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we do have to head back home. We have a flight to catch. So, on this way back home, hopefully, you guys got a lot of good information, a lot of good travel news about Hungary. Got some souvenirs to bring back with you. And as we head back, Star, we do have one last segment. So I'm going to ask you a list of questions, okay?
Okay.
And you have to answer them as fast as possible. So quick, quick,
Okay.
quick. A sense
Okay.
of urgency. And you
I'm
can
scared.
only, it's okay. It's okay. And you can only answer in one word answers. So yeah, it's going to be fun though. Let me go
Okay.
ahead and get myself ready. Now, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. So question number one, what is your favorite airline?
United
What is your favorite hotel or hostel?
Retox.
What is your favorite cruise line?
Princess.
What is your favorite state?
Arizona.
What is your favorite country?
Vietnam.
What is your favorite hotel booking site?
Hotels tonight. Hotels tonight.
Hotels tonight. What is your favorite flight booking site?
Skip lagged.
And what is one thing that Star Burley must bring on all her trips?
Passport.
Mm. Where do you want to go next?
Uh. Blah, 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 blah. Oh my god. No one asked me this.
It's a good one.
Jordan.
Ooh, nice. Uh, other than the states that you've already lived in, what other state would you live in?
Virginia.
What other country would you live in?
Germany.
Last question. What is your favorite travel podcast?
The Global Travel Podcast.
Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. I like that. Much appreciated. That was fun. That was a good trip.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are heading, but we're approaching our home airport. So definitely I need your attention. But you know what, Star? Let me just say thank you right away. You gave us a lot of great information. So much appreciated by Hungry. Thank you. Thank you. And then to all my listeners out there, like you already know what time of day it is. I need you back into your seats. I need you buckled up, trays up in the seats in the upright position. So before we land, we're getting ready to land now, Star. If you could do us a huge favor, if you can give our listeners one last piece of travel advice, what would that be?
Be open. Let it happen. Don't say no.
Mhm.
All of that. Just do it. Honestly, just do it. It's gonna be great.
Great advice. I love that. It's simple. It just Nike. Just do it. Just do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Next
Keep it
sponsorship.
simple.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are now landed. You can safely unbuckle your seatbelts, grab your belongings, and exit the cabin. Thank you for flying here with us at the Global Travel Podcast, and we'll see you on our next trip. If you would like to be a guest on our show and tell us about your travel experiences, then leave us a comment in the comment section below so we can reach out to you. Also, if you have any countries, states, or cities that you'd like us to review, please let us know so we can plan a trip there. Lastly, if you got some good value today and liked our podcast, please hit the like button and click subscribe so you can travel with us again next time. So subscribe right now because you don't want to miss the next trip. With that being said, over and out.